Hello everyone, I welcome all of you on behalf of Edureka. In this, we are going to talk about the Helm charts, okay, and what exactly charts are, how we deploy them, and why we require Helm charts in Kubernetes. We'll be seeing everything in this webinar today, and we'll also see a small demo around this. Okay, so we are going to discuss what is Helm here. We are going to discuss Helm charts, why we use it, okay, and what is the structure, and we'll also see a demo creating some charts. Okay, so now let's start with our actual topic. Let's start with Helm. So let's see the content. Let's see my slides here. Okay, so you see it up here that what is Helm? Okay, so Helm is a package manager. Okay, it is mainly used for deploying the charts. Okay, it is mainly used for reducing the complexity. Now what charts are, how it reduces the complexity, we will see that everything. Okay, so for example, in Kubernetes I want to deploy one application. Okay, so for deploying that particular application, for example, an application basically consists of your two things, a front end and a back end. Yeah, so normally a small web application I'm talking about. Okay, a simple web application contains your front end here. I write it front end FE and a back end. Okay, so these you also call it as microservices. Okay, or you call it as microservices or your micro applications. Okay, like a front end, for example, a website. I want to develop a website. Okay, so a banking website or any portal I want to develop. So what I will do, I will first have a database, okay, where I will be storing all the data, and I will be having up a Apache server running, a HTTPD server running, and that HTTPD server will serve the request. You will be, means when you open up the web page, what you do, you hit the Apache web server. Okay, that Apache web server contacts the backend. Okay, it contacts the backend to fetch the data. Once it fetches the data is displayed on the screen. For example, your banking websites, you simply, let's suppose you want to open up a banking website. What do you do? Okay, in that banking website, you simply type the URL on a web browser, and what happens? The web page gets opened up. You put your credentials. Now from where that credentials are verified, those credentials are in the database, in the banking database. You don't have access to a database. You can only interact on the web page. Okay, so you will be putting your credentials. After putting your credentials, you will be, the front end will talk to the back end, verify the credentials. If the credentials are verified, you're allowed to log in. Now whatever you want to do onto your banking account, you can do. Like you want to make some transaction, you can do it. You want to check your balance, you want to check some statements, you can do anything. But yes, whatever you are clicking on the front end, that every data is coming from the back end. Yes, a simple two-tier application, we all understand. Okay, so how we deploy such application in Kubernetes? So for deploying such an application in Kubernetes, Kubernetes is all about containers. Okay, our application will be running in container only. Okay, it will not be on server, it will not be anywhere, it will be in containers. It means we run those containers in the pods. Okay, we create it under the pods here. Okay, so pods are managed by Kubernetes. Pods are nothing but your containers. Okay, and I will be deploying one container for the front end, one container for the back end, and I will connect them. I will ask front end to talk with the back end using services. Like how do we do in traditional world? Okay, we have two servers here. This is my front end server. Okay, and this is my back end server. Yes, and here it is my database. My database is running here, and my Apache is running here. Apache or HTTPD, any service. Now, how this will talk to each other? Using IP, using IP addresses. Yeah, the front end will communicate with the back end using the IP of the back end. That is how it communicates. Okay, so now in this, same concept applies here, but instead of in Kubernetes, we don't use servers. We deploy this application in a container, because Kubernetes is a container orchestrator. So everything must be in a container. Okay, and finally, those containers are your microservices, micro applications or microservices. Okay, those two microservices or those two containers will talk to each other using the services. Services give the IP address in Kubernetes. Okay, services provides the IP address. Okay, so let's go and deploy one application here. Let's do this. So how we deploy an application, simple is we use the YAML files here in Kubernetes. We are going to use simple YAML files. Okay, I will be creating some resources. For front end, I will create a container using a controller. I will create a volume. I will also create up a service. Okay. After that, I will also do it same for the backend. And let's try to access this. Okay. So let's go here. Let's go on my terminal here, and let's see this thing in action. After that, we will come on to the Helm. Okay. Why Helm is important? But first, let's see how we deploy our application in Kubernetes in real time. Okay. So let's go back here. Yeah. So this is the where I'm running my cluster. I can open this up. So I'm using GCP. On GCP, I've created my cluster. Okay, it's fine. You create it on AWS, you create it on Azure, anywhere, wherever you want, you can create the cluster. It's completely fine. Okay. So now my shell is running here. Okay. See this, my cluster is running up here. kubectl get nodes. How many nodes in the cluster I have? I have 2 node cluster, which are running from last 17 minutes. It's a fresh new cluster. I've just deployed it around 215, 220, somewhere around that. I've deployed this 230, I would say. I've deployed this cluster at that point of time. Okay. Now the thing is, we have 2 node cluster. Now I'm going to run my application as containers on these machines. These are machines. They are running on my GCP. Okay. We can see that where they are running. So if you want to check it, let's check it out. Let's go into the compute engine here, and you will see that it is running here. Okay. See, 2 machines. These are 2 virtual machines. On these 2 virtual machines, I am going to deploy my application as container. So in Kubernetes, Kubernetes is a cluster. You have multiple machines in a cluster, and on those machines, you deploy containers, application containers. And those application containers or those containers are managed by Kubernetes. Okay. So now here, what I'm going to do is, let's go and deploy one application. So let's deploy a very simple application of WordPress. I think we all know what WordPress is. WordPress is a kind of an application where you create the blogs, create websites, an application used for blogging purposes, for creating websites, for creating any kind of front end kind of stuff. Okay, so that application we require, but that application, for creating that application, we require the backend as well, because a WordPress requires user ID passwords. You will be creating your blogs, web pages, everything you will create. Yes. So now where those things will be stored, that will be in the database. Let's go and execute this. Okay, let's have it. So guys, in the meanwhile, if you have any questions as well, please do put your questions in the question box. I don't want it to be a one-way communication. If there is any such thing which you want to discuss, do let me know. If you don't understand, let me know. It's fine. Okay, but put your questions in the question box, and I will answer your questions only in the end. Okay, once I complete with this webinar, in the end, I will start taking up your questions. Okay, so let's see this here. Okay, I am on my Cloud Shell here. kubectl get nodes. I have already done this. Right now, let's see if I have any pods. Do I have any pod? It's all fresh new cluster, nothing here. Do I have any volumes here? Persistent volumes. Do we have any PV, persistent volume? Okay, I don't have any volumes. Do we have a service? So there will be a default service that will be running, but I have not created my own service. Let's do it. So how in Kubernetes it is going to work is, it is very straightforward here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to deploy backend. Okay, that backend first will have a volume. Okay, and this backend pod, this container, will be exposed via a service. Okay, so I have to deploy these 3 things here. Okay, along with that, same thing I'm going to deploy here, a front end pod, which will be exposed by a service. Okay, and this will be backed by a volume. That is what I'm going to do. And for those, I have already some YAML files with me. Let me show you those YAML files. Okay, so let me show you those YAML files here. So if you see cat, let me go into my content directory, WordPress, and I show you some YAML files here. Cat, for example, you see this MySQL. So this is a big YAML file. Okay, I have written these YAML files by my own. Okay, so even anyone can, I can give these YAML files, anyone can run it. Even if you want to modify this YAML file, you can also modify this YAML file. It's completely fine. You can do whatever you want with these YAML files. Okay, so I have written all these YAML files by myself, and I'm going to deploy this. Okay, so here I'm creating up a volume here. Volume is of 20 GB. Okay, I'm also creating up a service. Okay, a service is which will give the IP address. A MySQL service, the name of the service is WordPress-MySQL. Along with that, I'm also creating a deployment. Deployment is a controller that is used. So we discuss, actually I'm jumping directly onto Helm, but the thing is, normally when I conduct any training programs here, this is a webinar. In our training programs, we first discuss all these things. We discuss services, we discuss volumes, we discuss deployments, all these things. And then later down the stage, we cover the application part, how we deploy applications. But yes, we are into just a 1 hour webinar. So I cannot, at this point of time, I cannot go with all these details like what deployment is, what services are, what PVCs are. Okay, but yes, I can only tell you service is for exposing an application, deployment is for creating a pod, and PVC is for giving a volume to the container. That is what it is. Okay, but how we do it up, actually that is quite big, and normally I take around in 3 sessions to cover these 3 things. One 3-hour session for services, one 3-hour session for completing deployment, and another 3-hour for storage PVCs. After completing all these 3, we jump onto the application deployment. Okay, but right now time don't permit us to do all these things here. So what I will do is I will only show you the application deployment here. Okay, so let me go and execute this file here. So kubectl, how I execute this, create. So before I create, I also want to give a password. So I also want to create a secret here. You can see that I'm using a secret. Let me do a ls-al here and cat the secret file. I have to also create this. Okay, secret is actually the password for database. So what is the password I'm giving? I'm giving this as a password. What is this password here actually? Okay, this password, let me show you what this password is. Let's do this base. Let me do this. This is encoded password. I have to decode the password. So echo double quotations, I put it the password here. This is encoded password. Okay, I do pipe base 64 minus minus, decode the password, and I want to print it on a new line. So what is my password for database I'm setting is root. Okay, so this is my user ID will be root, password will also be root to connect to database. Okay, this is what I require, because even in a physical world or in a traditional world, okay, where you were running your applications on physical servers, what do? For front end to connect to the back end, it requires 2 things. One, a IP address where the database is running. Along with that, the password of the database. If the front end don't know the password of the database, how it will get connected? That is a question. So that is what we have to do here. Okay. So now I'm going to execute this kubectl create -f secret. First of all, I'm going to create a password. That password will be used by my SQL database, and then I will go and create the front end. So let me create this. Secret is created. Okay, you will see it will tell me secret created. See this, secret is created here. Now kubectl get secret. See, it is there. MySQL pass. The secret is there. Now let's go and create my backend. kubectl create -f mysql-deployment.yaml. I'm executing this. So it says what it says. Service is created. See, it is telling me service created, PVC created, volume and pod deployment controller. Want to check it? Let's see them. kubectl get deployment, okay, comma pod, comma svc, and you will see something interesting. See, you can see a pod. You can see this pod here. This is the database pod. It is still creating, container creating. It is coming up. Okay, it will take few seconds more to get it up and running. This is deployment, and this is the service WordPress-MySQL. Okay, now you want to connect to database. Let's go and connect to database first. Okay, let's do it from the CLI. So kubectl, let's see the pod again. If it is running, yeah, pod is running now. So kubectl exec -it. Okay, I give the pod name here. Okay, I paste it here, and I have to remove this from here. I only need to give the pod name. Okay, and I take a bash shell of this. I'm inside the pod. I'm inside the container, database container. Let's check it out. MySQL is the command line. -u root minus password is also root. Okay, u minus u username minus p password. Don't give spaces between u and p. Between u and username, p and password, don't give any space. It's fine. Okay, see, I'm connected. I'm on the MySQL command line now in the container. You want to see databases? Show databases. See, these are 4 default databases here. Okay, so let me use these databases here. Okay, let me put it on a notepad. Let me put this output from the notepad for you. Now I'm going to deploy front end. Okay, I will come out of this here, from here, and my front end is going to use this database exit. So now I'm going to deploy back my front end application. So for front end, you see the front end here. Okay, this is my front end again. For the front end also, I am creating a deployment. I am creating up a PVC. PVC is again of 20 GB. Storage for front end, and a service, okay, which is running on port 80, and it's a load balancer service. So let's go and execute this. kubectl create -f WordPress-MySQL.deployment. Yeah, it is created. It is getting created now here. Let's go and check it out in the backend. So command is kubectl get pod, svc, and let me also put deployment, pod, svc. I want to see the deployment controller, the pod it has created, the service. It has also created PVC. I want to check PVC. So it is also PVC. A 20 GB 2 volumes are also created. See this. 20 GB 2 volumes. One volume for the front end, 1 volume for the back end here. Okay. And the services are also running. See, this is the service load balancer. Okay. See the pod for the front end. This is the pod. Okay. Let's go see this. Okay, let's try to access this, but before I access this, let me go back in the database. Let's see if it is running or not first. Okay, pod, both the pods are running. You can see both the pods are running. Yeah. Okay, now I will go back inside the database, and you will see something very interesting. Okay, I take a bash shell of my here. I give the command mysql -u root p root. Okay, and I run the command here show databases. And you will see a database got created here. See the previous output and this output now. Let's compare the outputs. Okay. Earlier, this database was not there. From where it got created? My front end has connected to the backend using services. Okay. I'm using services in the backend to connect my front end to the backend. Okay. And you see this database is created. Earlier, it was not there. Now it is here. Okay. Let's see this. Okay. Let me do a few more steps here. Okay, let's play around with this. Okay, so I want to use this database. Use WordPress. Okay, database change. Let me see the tables. Do I have any data here? Show me the tables. Means in a database you create tables where you store any data. So do it have some tables? No, it has no tables. Empty set. It has no tables. All empty. Yeah. So let's go and create some data. Okay, so how we are going to create some data is, let's exit out of this. Let me exit out of this. Okay, now let's see the service here. kubectl get svc. What is the service IP? This is the IP of the service for WordPress front end. This is the IP, external IP. Copy this IP. On the browser, I will go and hit enter. I think it is, yeah. See this. It is running. My application front end is running here. Okay, this is what it is running. Okay, so now I will start deploying the application. It will create tables in the backend. Okay, it is going to create some tables in the backend. Okay, so right now let's see that this is done. Let's go and do a continue here. Continue. Okay, and I give some name here, Edureka blog. You give some information, anything that you want to give. You want to give a username. I give edu as the username. Okay, password, like you can give any password here. It's also fine if I use this password, or you can give anything. I give password as password 123. I'm giving this password. The username is edu. Password is password 123. I confirm use of weak password. It's fine. I give the email ID here, edureka@yahoo.co.in. Okay, it's a fake email ID. It is not the email ID of Edureka. It's just a fake account here I'm using. Okay, so now I will install the WordPress. I will go and install the WordPress. So once I install the WordPress now, you will see on the backend in the database tables are created. Okay, let's see it. Okay, install WordPress here. and it says, yeah, I don't want to do it, and I want to log in. Now I will be logging in. Okay, so I'll give the edu and password as password 123. Let's see the password here, guys. Yeah, username and the password. Let me log in, and I should be logged in. See, I'm logged in. Now I can create any blocks, anything, whatever I want to create, I can create it up here. No issues. I can do whatever I want now on this. Okay, so now let's go and check my database again, whether tables are created or not, and whether information is stored there or not. Let's do that here. Okay, so I go back on my Cloud Shell here, and let's go back in the database. This is my database here, and inside this I run mysql -u root -u root -p root. Password is also root, username is root, it's fine. Okay, so mysql. Now show me the databases. Okay, use the database WordPress and show me the tables inside this. And now you see the tables. Why? Because you have installed WordPress. Okay, earlier only this database was created. You see, earlier it was empty set. See, empty set show tables, nothing up here. But now you see the tables. Okay, can you see? Do you want to see the data? Do you want to see the username and the password? Okay, where it is stored. So that user, this is the schema. Tables, this is the schema of what tables you create. So database designers always create these. The application developers normally create all these schemas of the tables. I have not created these tables. These are from the application code. When application connected to the database, it created everything there. Okay, that's in the code of the application. So now the question here is, I have created one user edu password 123, where that is stored. You want to check that. Okay, so that will be stored in this particular table. So run a simple database query. Select star from wp underscore users and semicolon. You're logging on the front end on a web page. You put your ID password there, and that ID password is verified from the database. It's sitting in the database. Okay, now from this database, the ID and password is fetched, and if you have given a right ID and the password, you are logged in. If you have given a wrong ID and the password, the database match is not successful. What will happen is you are denied login. You will not be able to log in. Okay, so everything. See the email ID, edureka@yahoo.co.in. I gave this email ID. I told you it's a fake email ID. Okay, see this. Okay, password is encrypted here. You cannot see the password. Password 123 is the password, but this is in the database. This is encrypted. MySQL encryption happens in the backend to store any such sensitive information. Okay, so see this. You want to create one more user, you can create it up. It's fine. You will see that in the database. It's completely fine. Okay, but everything, guys, this is real time. Even you can also access this IP address. I give you this IP address here. It is. You can also access this, everyone. Okay. Use the user ID edu and password as password 123. Try to access this. Okay, if you are using your organizational laptops, if you're connected through your company laptop, then maybe this IP may be restricted. Try to open it from mobile phones. You will be able to reach this application. So guys, this is not static. Okay, I'm not showing you any video here. This is real time that I've deployed an application in front of you. Okay, you can also access this. This application is up and running there. Okay, this IP is coming from a service, and everyone, please try to access it up. You will be able to get a hold of this. Okay, so now this is how we have deployed an application. I'm done with deployment. Now the question is, okay, from last 37 minutes we are only talking about deployment. What is the chart now? From where the chart comes up, Helm comes up. From where does it come up? So Helm helps us in managing this deployment. Okay, let me tell you that how. Okay, let's see that. So after that, I will go and delete this. I do exit here. I do an exit here. Okay, now I will go and delete this, and now you will not be able to access it anymore. Okay, let's check it. So how will I delete? I will use these YAML files again. ls-al, these are the YAML files. I'm going to delete these. So how to delete? Delete it using the YAML files, kubectl delete -f. I want to delete everything. I want to delete everything. What all the files I want to execute means I can use this like this. First, I want to delete the secret. Then I want to delete the next file is mysql-deployment -f wordpress-deployment. I'm giving all the three files. So now, from now onwards, you won't be able to access the web page. It's gone because pod container is deleted. Okay. So now this is the way we have deployed one application. Now let's see how we use charts here. Okay. So for deploying an application, what I require, you see what did I require? I have to write these YAML files. I have to write how many YAML files are there. These are actually 3, but inside there are 7 YAML files. How 7? Let me tell you how 7. Okay. So we have created here backend pod, a front-end pod, one YAML file for the pod, one for this backend, then a volume for this, okay, a volume for this as well, okay, a service for this, third one, a service for this, yeah, along with that, a secret for putting the password. Yes, so how many total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I have to write these 7 YAML files. Okay, and I can also give you these YAML files. You can also execute it on your Kubernetes cluster. Your application will be up and running. Okay, there's no big challenge there. But there's one problem with these YAML files. The problem here is, let's suppose I want to deploy the application and somebody loses these YAML files. How he will be able to deploy it? Will not be able to deploy this raw code. Like this is the code of your application that I'm giving you, Kubernetes code, YAML code that I'm giving you, and you're utilizing it to deploy the application there. Okay, now, okay, that's fine. You lose it, you cannot deploy. You will ask me again, please give me the YAML files. Okay, now other reason is, other drawback of this is that, let's suppose I give you the YAML file and you change those YAML files. You change the container image. Let's suppose you and me, both of us are working in 2 different teams. I am a developer, you are the SRE, you are the DevOps guy, or you may be a production, you may be working with the production team, like a SRE engineer who is deploying the application, who is managing and maintaining these applications. So now I'm a developer, I have developer come DevOps I am. So I have created these YAML files and I have provided these YAML files to you. But in production, you have changed something in the YAML files. You can do it. It's a VI editor. You have to just do a VI on the file, modify the file, and it can be done. And now your application is not working there. Okay, so that is a problem. Okay, because you have changed something. Or let's suppose I give the same YAML file to 3 different teams. I am the developer. Now there are 3 people. Okay, one is in the non-production team, one is a part of the staging team, one is a part of your production team member. Okay, there are different teams out there. One is a staging. So I'm giving you the YAML files. Now you can modify those YAML files and deploy the application on all the 3 environments: staging, non-staging, and production. But you can modify those as well. So if you are modifying, there is no standardization. For example, in the YAML file in production, you are using MySQL 5.6. In non-production, you are using 5.7. In staging, you are using 5.8. So your application is not standard across the 3 environments. That we don't want. Okay, we don't want the engineers to play with those YAML files. We don't want that particular part. We can deploy it using YAMLs, it's fine, but we don't want that. And writing YAML files, managing these YAML files is a big challenge. Now I'm just showing you that this was a simple application with 7 YAML files. It can be 50, 60 YAML files for the application, 50 to 60 YAML files. Okay, so how we can deploy such a application which has multiple YAML files? Okay, now the question here is straightforward. Like, I have multiple YAML files, how we can deploy it? And the answer is also straightforward, using charts. For example, let's suppose in a CentOS or in an Ubuntu environment, okay, let's suppose I'm working in CentOS and I want to install a package called as Tomcat. I want to install Tomcat, okay, or any kind of application. So Tomcat is written in Java code. It has some jar files, Java codes are there. Okay, now I give you the code, okay, and you don't know Java. Will you be able to deploy it? Will you be able to deploy that if you don't know Java, how to run a Java code? No, you cannot. You cannot. I'm giving you a raw code. You have to compile it up. Okay, after compiling it up, when you get a class file, from that class file or the jar file, you have to deploy it up. So if you don't know Java, C, Java compiling and Java deployment, you cannot do that. So how we can deploy Tomcat on a CentOS? Simple answer is normally our life is very easy. We simply run this command. We simply run this command. Yes. What this is? This Tomcat is the package. Okay. What a package is? A package is a collection of all your Java class files, all your Java code. You have your code is there, and that particular code clubbed together gives you a package. And as an end user, I'm the end user. Let's suppose I only want my application to run. What I will do, yum install tomcat -y. That's it. Simple step. Yes. Same thing. Same thing we do in Kubernetes. Here we have our application written in YAML files. Okay, my application has multiple YAML files. Okay, we will be putting all these, we'll collect all these YAML files, create one single bundle. We'll be creating one single bundle, and that bundle is called as chart. Okay, like you call it as a package there. Okay, you call it as a package. Here we call it as a chart, and we will be deploying this chart using a utility that is called as Helm. That's it. So like in CentOS, you have your Java code. Okay, that Java code, from that code you compile, you do everything, you created up a Java package, a war artifact, a jar file. You call it as a jar file. Okay, a package jar file or your war file, and after that you'd simply go and deploy it on the server. Okay, using the yum install. Okay, the jar file or the RPM, basically you have the code here. Okay, this is Java code of Tomcat. You got a jar file, war file. From here you create a RPM package, basically RPM package. Okay, that RPM package will be deployed using yum. That we do. Ubuntu apt-get. Yeah, on Ubuntu we have apt-get. On CentOS we have yum. Same thing on where you have it on Kubernetes. Okay, a collection of all the YAML files makes up a chart, and that chart is the package that we will be deploying in Kubernetes using Helm. So Helm is the package manager and chart is the bundle or your package that is getting deployed. Like yum install Tomcat. Yum is the package manager, Tomcat is the package. Okay, so let's go and do this. How we do this? Let's do it. Okay, so let's go and do that. So how I can get a package here? Okay, right now I don't have anything, no applications running. See here, kubectl get pod. Do I have anything? No, I don't have anything. No resource form. It's all gone. So now I'm going to deploy same application, but just one command. I'm not going to see any YAML files. I'm not going to deploy any YAML files. Okay, and I'm going to take help of this. I'm going here. Okay, I'm going on the website. I'm going from where I can get the chart. So I can get a chart from a repository. Okay, what a repository is? A centralized location where all the charts are hosted, where you have all the charts present. That centralized location is called as the repository. Okay, so I go on this centralized repository, bitnami.com. It's a public repository. Anyone can download any chart from here. Okay, so here on this Kubernetes, you see Helm charts. Click on this. Okay, after this, what I'm going to do is you click on this Bitnami. It opened up a GitHub page. You click on this folder Bitnami. Okay, and see the charts, see the applications. See the applications. Can you see the applications? These are charts. These are charts. I'm going to deploy the WordPress again. I'm going to deploy this WordPress again. Okay, and this WordPress will have the YAML files. You want to check it? Click on the WordPress. click on the templates and see the YAML files. See the YAML files. I told you what a chart is. It's a collection of all the YAML files. Nothing more than that. It's just a simple collection of the YAML files. This is here. I'm going to deploy this chart. You will see all these YAML files will be executed automatically. Now see how many YAML files I have for a single application. Okay. So again, let's go and how we deployed it. First, I have to add this repository. It's already added here. Let me show you that. Okay. I just go one directory back, but no, not here. Charts. Okay. Let's click here and you see how to add the repository. So this is the URL. This is the command helm repo add. I already have this added. Okay. Let me show you that here. Command is helm repo list. Yum repo list. Helm repo list. Hit enter. See the repo. Can you see this repo? Bitnami. This is the URL. Okay. How I have added, I've simply executed this command. The first command only to add the repo. Copy, paste. That's it. So when you run the command, you will see the output something like this. Helm repo add Bitnami. You run the first command and you will get the output there. See, it is coming again. It says added. Okay. So Helm repo add. This is any user defined name. This Bitnami, sorry. This Bitnami is a user defined name. You can give any name. You can also give your name here. It's fine. Okay. But normally we give a name that is very much easy to understand. Okay. So that's why I know that I'm going, this is coming from Bitnami website. Okay. So that's why I've given the name Bitnami. Okay. So now I will go back and it is already added. Helm repo add. I'm not running that command. Okay. It is already there. So I don't need to do that. So now I'm going to deploy the application. Do I have any application right now? Helm list. I don't have anything. I don't have any application. kubectl get pods. Do I have running anything? No, I'm not running anything. See this. Let's deploy one command. Application will be up and running. Let's do that. kubectl, not kubectl, but Helm. The command starts with Helm. What is the command to install a package on Linux? Yum install. We do yum install apt-get install. Same command here. Helm install. You have to give a name. My WordPress. My WordPress. Any name, any user defined name. Okay. You can also give your name as well. That's fine. So anything you can give. After that, repo. Bitnami is the repo where charts are located, where charts are present. // the name of the application. WordPress. That's it. WordPress. Yeah. So you have to just give this. This is the command, guys. That's it. Nothing more than that. Hit enter. And it will start executing. It will start deploying the application. Okay. Right now, I don't have anything. See, it has deployed. You want to check? kubectl get pod. See, backend, frontend, a database pod. This is a database pod. Okay, it is container creating. This is the front end pod, automatically creating. One command. That makes my life easier. Now, what I do is normally DevOps team create these charts. They put these charts on a centralized location. And to all other teams, they tell them, be it production, staging, non-staging, any team, does not matter. They will simply tell their team that please go and use the chart to deploy the application. That's it. They don't do anything extra there. Okay, that is what a normal industry works. DevOps team, developer will code the application. DevOps team will create the build, will create the chart. Okay, after creating the chart, the other teams, it will tell them to do and deploy the application using that chart. That's it. Testing team will deploy the chart, test the application. Okay, production team will deploy that in production, everything. Okay, now let's see if the pods are created. Pods, everything, service, you see PVC. Okay, you see deployment controller, everything is created again. See, yes, controller, pods, services, service again, it has a one IP. It has got a same IP, I think, again. Now you can also access it again using this IP. Access it via the IP. Okay, so same IP, but this time the username will be different, I think. Okay, this is the IP address of the my application. Okay, but this is a different application, means that the way I've deployed it is different. Previously the username was edu password 123. That same username password is not going to work here. The password and the username and the password will be different. Is pod running? Pod is running. Pod is still in the pending state, so we have to wait it. Okay, we have to wait until the pod comes up. Okay, my application is still not running. Okay, this will come up. This will take some time here for this to come up. Okay, so you will not be able to connect right now because this is in pending state. Okay, so we have to wait that. Okay, it may be around another few minutes here to get it completed. So if required, I can put the command on watch kubectl get pod, and let's see, it is still pending. Okay, this will take a bit of time here to come up. I'm not sure why it is pending. Let's see why it is pending here. The kubectl logs. I think I'm missing something. No, I'm not missing anything. I think here. Okay, and kubectl logs. Let me describe this. Kubectl describe the pod. Some troubleshooting. Okay, why it is pending? To pod has unbound. Oh, insufficient CPU. Oh my god. My worker nodes are actually very small, 1 CPU, and this application requires a good amount of CPU. Oh, I have to delete the node here. Actually, it means I have to add one more node that will take around another 15-20 minutes. But guys, I think you have got the concept. Okay, what I'm trying to do, why my pod is pending? Because the container, it is going on some node, and that node does not have sufficient CPUs. Okay, it's just very small, 1 CPU only, nothing more than that. So both the machines are just 1 CPUs. So that is the reason I think it is not working. 1 or 2 CPUs, and my application may require some good amount of CPUs. So it is saying 0 out of 2, and it says insufficient CPU. So it will remain in pending. I have to bump the CPU, or I have to add one more worker node there in the cluster where I can put all my applications. I have to do that. So I think that's it. That is it, guys. It will take some time here, so I may not be able to complete this demo right now. But yes, you know the reason. But we have seen the deployment, but it should be running. If I increase the CPU, that will take some time actually. Okay, but if I increase the CPU there, you will see the pod will be running. You will see this particular pod which is in pending state. The front end, this is the front end pod. Back end is running fine. Back end is all good. Front end is not running. So for deploying front end, I require some CPUs on the nodes. Okay, which is very less. I have only 2 nodes, and all the CPUs are quite less in number on these 2 machines. Okay, so but I think you got the concept here, everyone. So this is why we use charts. Okay, and if you want to remove the application, here, so you see the application Helm list. How we remove an application in CentOS? Yum remove. Yes, we do that. Or apt-get uninstall, apt-get remove. Same command here, but instead of remove, I will be running command Helm uninstall. That's it. And what is the application name? My WordPress. Copy paste. That's it. Copy paste the name of the application. That's it. Hit enter, and you're done. It will be uninstalled. Every pod, volumes, everything will get deleted automatically. Okay, everything. One command to install, one command to uninstall. That's it. And that is why we require chart. See, kubectl get pod, comma deployment, comma where it is. See, everything should be gone. Everything installed. This will also be going offline. This will also go offline. This will also go offline. Okay, this will take a minute. See, pods are no more pods, no pods. kubectl get the pod. Don't see any pods. No resource found. See, the application is gone. So this is why we require charts, for making our application standard across all the environments, and for making our life easier, our administration easier. Otherwise, you will end up with lot many YAML files, and you will confuse which YAML file is doing what. So as an end user don't require the code, don't require the YAML files. He only wants his application to be running. If there's just one command to deploy it, it's very much fine. So Helm install, and it will install your application. Helm uninstall will remove it. That's it. Okay, so guys, I'm done with today's webinar. I believe you would have understood lot many things here. Okay, I wish all the very best to you, and hopefully we'll meet again in the training programs. Till then, guys, have a great time ahead. Stay safe, stay happy, and have a happy learning.